Here's why young earners with high incomes are still feeling broke in 2026. And I actually had the same problem when I had first started out in my career. I felt like I was making decent money, but I still felt like I wasn't getting ahead. So in this video, I want to take you through some of the traps that cause people to feel broke even though they are still earning a high income. The first reason is going to be because they own no assets, and assets are great for preserving your net worth and also to help out your active income. Any assets that produce income are going to help offset the active income that you have and cover the expenses. And the more you invest into income producing assets, the less that you have to rely on your active income. For example, if you have $100,000 invested and you get an average return of 6 to 7% adjusted for inflation, you will earn roughly $7,000 a year, and that is over $500 per month. And that $500 can go a long way with your expenses. That can cover your gas for the month, it can even cover your groceries, or you can even reinvest it to take advantage of compound growth. And if you invest for the long term and eventually have 10 times that, say $1 million invested, $70,000 per year is pretty much replacing a full active full-time salary. Also, when you own assets, you can take advantage of inflation, because anytime inflation goes up, your assets will generally go up in value as well. But this is why so many people feel broke, is because they own no assets and just have their income to rely on, so they can't take advantage of inflation and they have no additional income that can support their active income. When you're young, you might not own many assets, but starting to invest into income producing assets is going to help you out in the long run. The next reason is because many high earners have this fallacy in mind that they can out-earn their spending. And that might be true for a while. You might actually be able to make more and then spend more. But there becomes a time when your income reaches a cap and then your spending might still increase, leaving you in a tight spot. There is another reason that it is hard to out-earn your spending, because luxury items often increase exponentially in price and not linear. So for example, a shirt that costs $50 might be so good, but a shirt that's twice as good and is considered a luxury item might cost $500, not $100. So for luxury items especially, this fallacy ruins many people. If you want to learn how to avoid some of these traps, I have a community where I help high income earners build their net worth faster. So I'll leave a link to that in the description below. The third reason is that a lot of high income earners have this problem where they'll make spending the reward, not the progress towards a goal. So anytime they accomplish something, such as having a hard week at work, they'll go out and spend money the next day to feel good about it. However, this is a quick way to destroy your savings rate and not have any savings at the end of the month. Instead, it's better to celebrate when you reach a long, hard, and challenging goal, not overcoming daily tasks. Replacing spending with better rewards, such as time spent on a hobby you enjoy, such as watching TV or playing video games, or even going for a run, would be a better option than to spend money just for the sake of spending money. It is essentially the same dopamine rush to your brain, but instead of spending hundreds or even thousands of dollars on the weekends, you can take time and spend it on the things that you truly enjoy that add value to your life. The fourth and probably the biggest reason that high income earners are feeling broke, and especially young high income earners, is that they are spending emotionally. I see this with so many people my age. They either have luxury apartments, luxury cars, they travel excessively, dining out, subscriptions, convenience spending is a big one, such as food delivery. Young people especially are subject to comparing themselves to others, and it's important to keep in mind not to compare yourself to your level 10 to someone's level 100. Social media is a huge factor in this, and it's really easy to compare yourself to others looking at social media posts, but to be honest, you don't know what advantages other people have and what's real and what's fake. So a lot of people will spend money trying to keep up someone else's lifestyle that might not even be real. And the problem with high income earners is that they have the high income to support these spending habits. But really, it's a false sense of security, because there will always be someone that comes along that has the bigger and better thing. It's better to compare yourself to your prior self and not compare yourself to other people. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't spend money on these things, because I do think that you should. You should also know the reason you're doing it. You should also ask yourself why you are spending money on these things. If it's truly to enjoy a new experience for yourself and maybe your significant other, then it might be worth it. But if you're doing it just to keep up with someone else's lifestyle, I would reconsider that. And that leads into my next and final point, which is that they will lock themselves into high fixed expenses. High income earners especially are more subject to getting trapped because they have access to higher leverage and more debt. Having a rent or mortgage over $3,000 makes it a lot harder to save, even if you have a high income. It can be really tempting to go out and get a luxury car that has a super high car payment. People will also subscribe to expensive clubs and gyms and memberships that cost a lot of money every single month. And the problem with these large fixed expenses is that they're reoccurring. So it's hard to have a really good savings rate when your fixed expenses are so high. With variable expenses such as food and going out to eat, you can control that every single month. But having high fixed expenses sets your baseline so high that it makes it really hard for people to get ahead. So these are the top reasons that young high income earners are feeling broke today in 2026. So I want to know your thoughts and if you have had any of these problems in the past.